Company often conducts the inspection of the goods to ensure that only quality products are delivered to customer. In this session, we will review the inspection process in general and product demonstration for the same. Company may conduct the inspection before receiving the goods from vendor or after receiving it. This step will ensure that only quality products meeting the company's quality criteria are being received. Company may perform the detailed inspection or it can be a quick inspection, for example visual inspection of the goods. In Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012, we can use either quarantine order or quality order to perform the inspection. Quarantine order is used for the quick inspection, for example visual inspection, whereas quality orders are used to perform detailed inspection and also generates the detailed quality report, often known as certification of analysis. Let us review the inspection using the quarantine order first. There are 4 simple steps to be completed in order to process the inspection of goods using the quarantine order, and those are: first setup, then enable, then create and process the quarantine order. Setup requires to create a warehouse of quarantine type to track the goods while they are being inspected. Goods are kept at quarantine warehouse temporarily meanwhile inspection is going on. There is a setting in the item model group which triggers the quarantine order creation on processing production receipt, for example on registering the product. Quarantine order can be created manually as well. Once quarantine order is created, whether it's manually or automatically, it can be processed further to start and stop the inspection of the products. Notice that if multiple items are being received, quarantine orders will be generated per product or per product code. Once quarantine order is created, it can be started to indicate that inspection of the goods is started. If quarantine order will be created automatically, it will be started by system itself. Company may perform inspection when customer returns the goods. Company may need to take different action on the returned goods. For example, some products are found to be defective, but some are rejected. In this case, we need to split the quarantine order to take different action on the returned goods. However, we will review the application of splitting the quarantine order in the separate video series discussing about how to handle customer return. Once quarantine inspection is completed, goods can be released to be received in the warehouse, and this can be done by reporting quarantine order as finished. Once quarantine order is reported as finished, warehouse manager will receive the goods in the inventory. Alternatively, we can end the quarantine order to receive the goods in inventory directly. Let us review the product demonstration of how to create and process quarantine order in Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012. In order to create a warehouse of quarantine type, go to Inventory and Warehouse Management. Under the Setup, under Inventory Breakdown, click on Warehouse. This is the European subsidiary and we will receive the goods at Rome main warehouse. So we need to first create a warehouse of quarantine type. Let's say quarantine warehouse for Rome. This belongs to a Rome site and type has to be of quarantine. Once this is created, we need to link this quarantine warehouse to Rome main warehouse. Select the Rome main warehouse and under the General Fast tab, select the quarantine warehouse, that is a Rome quarantine warehouse. In order to trigger the quarantine order automatically on registering the product or on product receipt, we must enable quarantine management in the item model group. From the release product form, let's say we want to set the quarantine management for our bicycle. Then click on the item model group linked to this product and under the warehouse management group, click on quarantine management. This would trigger the quarantine order automatically on registering or receiving the product. Alternatively, item model group can also be located from Inventory and Warehouse Management, Setup, and under the Inventory group, click on Item Model Group and select the model group for which you want to enable the quarantine management. Now let us see how system creates the quarantine order on registering the product. We have a purchase order for 5 pieces of road bicycle with small size in blue color, and this is being received at site Rome and warehouse and main warehouse of Rome. The purchase order is just created. Now let's try to register it. From update line, click on registration. We can also create a serial number automatically. So we will create a 5 different serial number. We can also give a format for serial number. It will create a serial number --01, 02, 03. So the 5 serial number have been created, as you can see. Then select all of them, and we also need to link a batch number here. Assign the same batch number for all of them, and then click on post all. Now, whether quarantine order is created or not, let us review from the inventory and warehouse management. Click on inventory and warehouse management, periodic, and under the quality management, we can see the quarantine orders. Click on quarantine orders, and we can see that per serial number there is a different quarantine order being generated. All 5 products what we registered just now can only be received after processing the quarantine order. The quarantine order was generated automatically because quarantine management was enabled on the item model group. As we can see, the default status for quarantine order is started because this was created automatically. And let us review the transaction as well. Inventory transaction. From ROM main warehouse, 1 piece of bicycle have been deducted, and this was received by the quarantine. Now at the end of the quarantine order, this must be received back in a ROM main warehouse, so there should be a issue status reserved physical on a quarantine warehouse. 1 piece of bicycle is ordered to be received from a quarantine warehouse, and it has been reserved physically against the quarantine warehouse. Once order is started, we can report as finish. Before we report as finish, we have a function here. We can also split the quarantine order, or we can scrap the product if it is found to be defective. We will review the application of split and scrap functionality in a different video series discussing about how to handle customer return. For now, we will report as finished this particular piece and say click OK. The status is being changed from started to reported as finished. And let's also look at the inventory transaction. At main warehouse, it is still receipt status is ordered, and quarantine warehouse is still reserved physical. There is no change in the transaction. Let's try ending this order, and inventory will be received on main warehouse. The quarantine order is ended, and let's review the inventory transaction. And we can see it has been purchased at ROM main warehouse and has been sold by quarantine warehouse. And if we also look at inventory on hand, we can see that. So we can see for serial number 1, now inventory is available physically, but for serial number 02, 03, 04 and 05, it is still ordered in total at main warehouse because it is reserved at quarantine warehouse. We can see on on-hand overview form that 4 pieces of bicycle are still at quarantine warehouse. We can also report as finish multiple orders at a time. Click on report as finish and click OK and end them. And the inventory have been now received completely. We can click on inventory and warehouse management and we can see all of them are now physical inventory available at ROM main warehouse. The transaction at quarantine warehouse were temporary transaction and which has been now removed. So all inventory are inspection is done and the inventory is available physically at ROM main warehouse. We can also create the quarantine order manually. From inventory and warehouse management periodic, click on quarantine order and click on new. Here we can give item number. Here we can select the batch number from which we want to take pieces. As we can see, when quarantine order is created manually, it has a status created, versus when it is created automatically, it has a status started. Now when quarantine order is created manually, it has a 2 transaction. It has been ordered from a quarantine warehouse and it has to be supplied from a main warehouse, and then we can start the quarantine order, and the quarantine order has been started. Now we can review the transactions here. From main warehouse, 1 piece of bicycle have been deducted, and now it must be issued from quarantine warehouse, and 1 piece we have to receive back at main warehouse. These are the transactions to track the goods while it's being inspected. And now it can be reported as finished and end, as we did it for quarantine order was created automatically. Let us review the quality order now. As explained earlier, quality orders are used when detailed inspection has to be performed for the received product. There are 4 simple steps to complete the inspection using the quality order, and those are: First setup, enable, and then create and process the quality order. Let us review each step in detail. Setup requires to create quality test to be performed, test instruments to be used to perform quality test variable, test group, sampling plan and quality group, quality association, etc. Let us try to understand setup elements using an example of bicycle. Let us say we want to conduct detailed inspection for the bicycle, and we will check first handle flexibility, whether it is okay or not, tire pressure, whether it is okay or lower or higher pressure, frame quality, whether it is crack, bent or okay, and then finally frame size, whether it is too big, too small or okay. Quality tests are list of tests to be carried out for the inspection of the goods. Taking the same example which we discussed in previous slide, we need to define 4 quality tests in a system, each for checking handle flexibility, tire pressure, frame quality and frame size. Test variable defines the possible outcome for a particular quality test. For example, when checking the handle flexibility, result could be either okay or not okay. Or on checking the tire pressure, outcome of the test could be either low pressure or higher pressure, or it may be a okay. We need to define the required test variable with its possible outcome and link it to quality test using test group. We may use specific test instrument to conduct a particular quality test. For example, to check the tire pressure, we may need to use pressure checker, and to check the frame size, we may need to use ruler. In case if test instruments are used, we need to create them first and link it to quality test. Product may share the similar inspection pattern, and such products can be grouped together using the quality group. And then quality order can be triggered for a group of products instead of setting up system for individual product. Sometimes we may pick up the products randomly for quality checking, or sometimes we may quality check for all the products being received. Sampling plan determines the quantities of the products to be considered for quality checking. Notice that whether it is the quality order or quarantine order being used for the inspection, goods will be blocked for further use meanwhile inspection is going on. Sometimes products are scrapped or destroyed at the end of the inspection or quality checking. This is called as a destructive testing, and if goods can be reused after quality checking, then this is called as non-destructive testing. Test group determines whether it is destructive or non-destructive testing. Test group also lists out the sequence in which quality test to be performed and links test variable to quality test. In addition, test group also determines the sampling plan to be used when quality order to be created automatically. Sampling plan here determines whether 10% or 20% or 100% product to be considered for quality checking. Let us say, since road bicycles are often found to be defective, company wants to ensure that road bicycles are always quality inspected thoroughly before receiving it into the warehouse. To cater this requirement, we have to set up quality association for purchase order to trigger the quality order before registering the products into the warehouse. This way, inspection has to be conducted first before registering the products in inventory. Product receipt can be from multiple sources. For example, it can be because goods are being returned from a customer, or vendor is delivering the goods for a purchase order, or it can be from a production order in case of manufacturing company. And quality association can be set up for a particular business event. After setting up the required things, we need to enable the quality control functionality from inventory and warehouse management parameters. Quality order can be created manually, or it can be created automatically on occurrence of specific business process. Once quality order is created, we need to perform the various quality tests and record the outcome for each quality test. Once all the tests are performed, system can validate and decide whether quality checking is meeting company's criteria or not. It will set the quality order as pass or fail after comparing expected results versus actual result. Let us review the product demonstration about how to create and process quality order in Microsoft Dynamics X 2012. In order to set up quality control, click on Inventory and Warehouse Management and then Setup. Under the Setup, expand the Quality Control group and we can see the necessary things to be set up. We will start setting up test instruments first. Click on Test Instruments, click on New In order to inspect the bicycle, we need two test instruments. One is the pressure checker. If we have any designated area in a warehouse where quality or inspection being conducted, we can specify it here. Let's say we have a test area, special location in a warehouse, and give a short description of the test instruments. It's a pressure checker. We will keep unit of measurement as a PSI, pounds per square inch, and it's a ruler, same test area, and maybe inch is the unit. So here we can also give a unit of measurement in which we can expect a outcome of the test. Then as a next step, let us set up the test. These are the tests to be conducted to inspect the bicycle. Click on new. So first we check handle flexibility. Here we have type of test, whether it holds the fraction result, integer result, or option result. When it is of type fraction, that means it can hold the result value in terms of real decimal values, so like 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. If it is of integer type, it can hold the values like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 integer. And option means we can define the set of outcomes and one of them can be chosen as a result. So handle flexibility should be of option type because we have a option whether it's okay or not okay. And we can also link a test instrument, but for checking the handle flexibility we do not need any test instruments. Once test is created, if we want to change the type of the test, we can change it from here, change quality test, and from new type we can specify either integer or let's create another test, that is a tire pressure TP. This also must be of option type, and for tire pressure we will use the pressure checker. New one, frame quality. This also must be of option type. We don't need any test instruments. And then frame size. This will be of fraction type because the size which is measured in inch will have an outcome in a real decimal values. So for this also we will use ruler. Then as a next step, we can set up a test variable. It may have the same description as test. Outcome, handle flexibility. We can define first all test, tire pressure, frame quality test. We don't need a test variable for frame size because test variable are used to hold multiple values if it is a test is of type option, but checking the frame size we can directly enter the results in inches. So we will not create for the frame size. For now, for handle flexibility, let's just define the outcome. In outcome we can create a new outcome. So for the test of checking handle flexibility, the possible outcome is one is cannot move, it's in a rigid condition, and here we can link a outcome status. So if we enter the result as cannot move, the test is to be considered as a fail, and if we say okay, then test results can be a pass. Similarly, we also need to define for the frame quality, bent, cracked, and okay, where okay is means test is pass, but bent and cracked means fail. Similarly, for tire pressure, we can define low pressure, high pressure, and okay. If it is okay, then it will be a pass. So we are done with the setup of test variable. As a next step, we can define the test group. Click on new. We will say bicycle test group. Acceptable quality level means if we have a multiple test and we have a different quantities linked per test, so acceptable quality level determines that how many accumulated quantity, if it is pass, can be considered as a quality checking is pass. So that we will explain later with an example. and here we can link a sampling plan, but so far we didn't create. So let's try creating a sampling plan first. That is from item sampling. We will bring 100% for quality checking. So all the inventory what we receive, we will conduct a quality test upon. So it's a 100%. Here we can define whether quantity specification of person type or fixed quantity. If user wants to bring in every time fixed quantity irrespective of the number of quantities being received, then this can be set up of fixed type, but for now we will set it up as a percent. And how many percentage we want to give, so we want to have 100% inventory being quality inspected. Now here in case if I am bringing in 50% of inventory for quality check, if I set full blocking, that means even the inventory which has not been brought in for quality checking will be blocked. Or we can also set the blocking for per updated quantity. So only in our case it's a 100% being checked, so that full inventory will be blocked during the quality inspection. And here we can create the quality order per warehouse, per location, per pallet, per batch, and serial number. So user can if user wants to create a different quality orders for different warehouses or batch number or serial number, it can be checked here. So we will keep the settings on for now. And on the test group we can link the sampling plan, that would be a 100%. And here we can select whether the test is of destructive type or not. Destructive type means items will be scrapped on closing the quality order. For now it's of not a destructive type. We can reuse the bicycle. And now let's add on the downside grid we can add all the tests to be performed. So we can give a test sequence number, that is a first test 10, starting with 10, and it is of handle flexibility. Under the test we can link and test variable, and here also we can mention the default outcome. We expect that most of the bicycles are having a good handle flexibility. Then next 20, that is a checking of tire pressure. Under the test we can link tire pressure variable, and again we expect that most of the bicycle has a good tire pressure. And then 30, frame quality. Here we can also set effective and expiry date during which particular test is applicable. For now we have set effective date and expiry date as blank. That means these tests are valid forever. And here again for frame quality we can link test variable. The default outcome is okay. And next is the 40, that is a frame size. Under the test we have since test instrument is already linked with the test, so it has got defaulted here along with its unit of measure. And now here we can define the limit for the size. So for example, say 20 inch is the standard height we have, and minimum can be 14 and maximum can be 25. If size of the frame is not in between 14 to 25, then we may consider as not a proper size, and that means the bicycle is not of a good quality, not having a good size. So here we can also define the minimum and maximum limit for a particular type of test, but this limit is only applicable for the test of type fraction or integer. For option type this is not applicable. So we are done with the setup of the test group. Then as a next step we can also set up quality group. we group the products having the similar inspection pattern in a one quality group for a road bicycle. So we have created a quality group for road bicycles and click on setup, and we can also add items, multiple items, by giving a specific searching criteria, and we can select the one which we want to add and click OK. All the added items can be checked by clicking on item quality group, and here we see all the items being linked to, which has been linked to this quality group. We can add new items from here as well. So for now we have a one bicycle, road bicycle, belongs to this quality group, and here we can also set up the workers responsible for the quality testing. So let's select one of the worker here, and last one is the quality association. As we discussed earlier, quality associations are used to trigger the quality order generation automatically on occurrence of specific business event. So in our case, we want to set up for a roam site where we usually receive or purchase the inventory from, and here we can set the reference type. So we can create a quality association for inventory, that is for inventory journals, sales order, purchase, production, quarantine, specific route operation, or for a crop product production. For now we will select purchase. Once we select the purchase, here we can define the items or a group of items. So here we will use quality group which we just created. So we want to set it up for all road bicycles, and here we can set it up for a particular vendor or for all vendors. For now we will set it up for all vendors, and here we can select on which specific business event from a purchase we want to trigger the quality order. So here we are saying as soon as we register the inventory, we want to trigger the quality order, and we can also block the documents product receipts. That means unless and until quality checking is done, the product receipt cannot be allowed. User will not be able to register the product receipt. We can also trigger the quarantine order if a quality order is failed. So if this checkbox is selected, quarantine upon validation failure, in case if quality order is failed, system would trigger the quarantine order. For now we will leave it unchecked, and here we can select the test group which to be used and the item sampling plan which get defaulted from a test group, and accept quality level is 100. So having set up this quality association means as soon as we register the product receipt for a item which belongs to the quality group, and the product receipt can be or purchase order can be from any vendor, as soon as we register, system would trigger the quality order creation, which first needs to be processed before confirming the registration. Let us try creating a quality order manually first. In order to create quality order manually, click on periodic from inventory and warehouse management. Click on quality order. Here click on the new. It is of if you want to create it for existing inventory, then we pick up the bicycles from existing inventory, so it has to be of type inventory. Then the item number for which we want to create the quality order, that's our bicycle, test group BTG, and here we can define the quantities to be, so let's say 1 pieces of bicycle, and from here we can select the batch number and serial number. So here we have 4 pieces of bicycle available. We select this batch number, and here we can select the serial number. So we want to select the serial number 01, and here site should be ROM Italy. Click OK. So as soon as we create a quality order, we can see that test which has been linked to test group have been copied on quality order. Now we can start the inspection of the bicycle by performing tests one by one. So we will first check the handle flexibility, and after checking we found that the handle flexibility was good. So we here enter the result quantity, that is only one piece we have for now, and here we can define the outcome. So handle flexibility was okay, and on entering the results, click on close, and here we can see the check mark. That means this test is successfully passed. If the result is entered, if it is failed, it would show with the cross mark. So now let's say for 20, let's enter the results. Here we can enter the quantity for now, it's a 1, and whether it's a high pressure or low pressure. So we say okay, the pressure was found to be okay, and then we click on OK. This is also pass. For 30, then click on results. The result quantity remains 1 because we are just doing inspection for one piece, and here we can also say it's a pass. And if you would have selected bent or cracked, then this would have been failed. So let's say okay. Now here we find the frame size too low, that is 10 inches. That is not in the limit of 14 to 25. So if we enter any values less than 14 or maximum more than 25, then it would be marked as a fail. So for this, let's enter a result here. Result quantity is 1. Test result is found to be a 13 inch, and we can see it has been marked with the cross mark. So the cross mark is still there, that means this test is failed. Now since our acceptable quality level is 100, so even if one of the tests is failed, system would make it fail. So after entering the results here, we can validate the quality order. Click on validate. Here we can see the worker who performed the quality test, and click on OK, and we can see the status has been marked as a fail because this particular test of checking the frame size is failed. We do not have proper frame size. Now let's say we want to accept, we can repair it ourselves, and we want to accept this bicycle. So in this case, you can reopen quality order, and it would be reset to status open. And this time we may say the acceptable quality percentage is 75%, because one of the tests is failed. That means 75% out of 4, 3 has passed. And if now we validate, then it would be marked as a pass, because the acceptable quality level is 75%. That means even if one of the tests is failed, that is fine. Similarly, we can also control the acceptable quality level at individual test level, which will get defaulted from a test group. So here, if acceptable quality level would have been 50%, and if we would have tested 2 pieces and one of them would have been failed, then this test should have marked pass, because the acceptable quality level is 50%. So this is how we process the quality order. And we can also look at the inquiry transactions, inventory blocking. For now, nothing is blocked, but if there would have been open quality order, which we will just reopen it. And now if we look at the inquiry inventory blocking, we can see the one piece of this particular bicycle having this batch and serial number is blocked. These are the inventory blocking transaction, means inventory is blank and it's under inspection. That means this particular bicycle is being inspected and it cannot be used further. Meanwhile, quality inspection is being done. And we can also inquire on certification of analysis. We can create a certification of analysis and click on print. It would print with all these details, which is a kind of analysis document coming out at the end of the quality inspection. And let's try creating a new purchase order. We have a purchase order for 1 piece of bicycle, and let us confirm them first, and then we will try to register. As soon as we register, it should trigger the quality order generation, because we have an active quality association set up. Make sure that in the item model group, which is linked to this product inventory, the quarantine management is unchecked. Otherwise, quality order cannot be created. So we go to update line, registration, and so after unchecking this, let's try registering the bicycle, and we can see the quality order has been generated. Double click this info log message, and we can see the quality order details. So this is a fresh quality order being generated, which can be processed as we process manual quality order. Thank you for watching this video.